Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Take a look at this headline from Empower Oversight. Empower Oversight requests SEC OIG conduct investigation into the failure of the SEC's ethics office to prevent cryptocurrency conflicts of interest by senior staff. And so, yes, the latest news from Empower Oversight is they're actually pushing for a real investigation having to do with Hinman and the obvious appearances of impropriety and warnings that what he was doing was, potentially criminal, let's say. Plenty to unpack here. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun, damn it. And so just to quickly set the table to make sure everybody is caught up to speed on what we're talking about, I wanted to briefly touch on part of this article from April 8th of this year from the Crypto Basic titled Ripple v. SEC. New email conversation shows William Hinman violated SEC's rules. With the SEC refusing to produce William Hinman's emails, new documents shared by Empower Oversight show that the former SEC director violated the Securities and Exchange Commission's rules. So let's pause to note what we're talking about there. Well, there's actually, you know what? There's actually a few ways that the SEC has been trying to prevent getting information out having to do with William Hinman's emails. The most obvious and well-known one within the XRP community is that they've been fighting the judge's order to share all of the Hinman emails having to do with his Ethereum free pass speech, and then also there are FOIA requests. Ultimately, we did get some FOIA emails. It's like 71 pages of Hinman-related emails, but they're almost 100% redacted. So we got some stuff out of it. We got some new names. It wasn't completely worthless, but those were redacted. Anyway, the piece continues. The documents, which feature messages from Hinman's emails, suggest how the former SEC director violated the agency's rule multiple times. In some of the conversations, Hinman was specifically warned by Shira Minton, former SEC ethics counsel, not to meet with Simpson, Thacher, and Bartlett, a New York-based international law firm, while he was still working with the SEC. And here's a quote from that. This is from the Ethics Council, folks. You have a bar under the criminal financial conflict with Simpson because you have an ongoing financial interest in the firm. Meeting with them while having such a conflict is not permitted. End quote. Pretty clear. And of course he did it. He completely disregarded. He does not care. This is an arrogant individual that thinks that he's above the law and can do whatever he wants. That's what I think of him anyway. Piece continues. However, Hinman neglected all warnings and went ahead to have the meeting with Simpson Thacher on 4 different occasions, as he disclosed in another conversation he had with one of the staff using a private email address. And take a look at this quote. This comes from Crypto Law, I believe. Yes, that is correct. That's John Deaton's organization, of course. So here's a quote from John Deaton's Crypto Law. We don't know what Hinman and Bonnie discussed. So let me pause. Is Bonnie? That's I think the first name's Josh. It's a Simpson Thacher employee. We don't know what Hinman and Bonnie discussed in their private meetings on November 28th, 2017, September 6th, 2018, September 18th, 2019, or September 17th, 2020, or how many other times Hinman violated criminal financial conflict rules without using his official SEC email account, end quote. And so one of the key takeaways there, it's the fact that these were noted by John Deaton's Crypto Law as criminal financial conflict rules. How about that? But again, he's an arrogant man. He thinks he can get away with whatever. He doesn't seem to give a damn. Which leads us to the latest update. Take a look at this again from Empower Oversight. Again, this piece is titled, Empower Oversight Requests SEC OIG Conduct Investigation into the Failure of the SEC's Ethics Office to Prevent Cryptocurrency Conflicts of Interest by Senior Staff, which reads as follows. Empower Oversight sent a letter to the Office of the Inspector General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is the SEC OIG for short, requesting a comprehensive review of the SEC's ethics officials to properly manage SEC official William Hinman's potential conflict of interest regarding cryptocurrency issues. The letter describes in detail instructions that the SEC's ethics office provided to Mr. Hinman and actions by Mr. Hinman that are inconsistent with the instructions. Somebody's pausing in there. going back to this, this is potentially criminal by definition. Literally. This is a big deal. Piece continues. Specifically, records that were disclosed to Empower Oversight in response to an August 12, 2021 FOIA request show that the SEC's Ethics Office cautioned Mr. Hinman that he had a direct financial interest in his former law firm, Simpson Thacher, and thus he needed to recuse himself from any matters that would affect the firm. And, lest he may have misunderstood its position, the Ethics Office explicitly told him not to have any contact with Simpson Thacher personnel. Further, the Ethics Office provided Mr. Hinman with a draft memorandum, which was to be issued under his name, that established a screening arrangement to ensure that he complied with his obligation to recuse himself from certain matters with which he had a financial interest or a personal or business relationship. Yeah, and so I'll just pause to note, I can't remember if it was cited here, but they went so far as to state, the ethics office, to state that you can't even have a phone conversation with these people. Well, he went beyond that, didn't he? Couldn't even have a phone conversation. Really grinds my gears, folks. Piece continues. In contrast to the instructions from the SEC's Ethics Office, the records disclosed to Empower Oversight and other information tend to show that Mr. Hinman failed to disclose Simpson Thacher's, and by extension his, direct financial interest in the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, which describes itself as an industry organization whose objective is to drive the use of Enterprise Ethereum and its cryptocurrency, Ether, during a speech he gave during his tenure at the SEC. In his speech, he opined that Ether is not a security, stating that, quote, based on my understanding of the present state of Ether, the Ethereum network and its decentralized structure, current offers and sales of Ether are not securities transactions, end quote. Ether's value rose immediately after Mr. Hinman's speech. Now think about this. Every top official at the SEC, with no exception off the top of my head, maybe there is one I'm just not thinking of, but pretty much no exception, or literally no exception, these top officials don't speak on individual cryptocurrencies. Other than, okay, actually, I do recall now that Jay Clayton technically had said certain things about Bitcoin and a little bit about Ethereum. Fine. Okay, fine. Technically, Jay Clayton had when he was at, but beyond that, they don't give opinions about individual cryptocurrencies. Nobody does, especially at the top. Why would they be doing this if not for some sort of personal gain? Why this one specifically? Why does this one get protected? Or is it just a big coincidence? He happened to speak about just this one. Oh, whoops-a-doodles, didn't know that Simpson Thacher, my former law firm, is a member of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Oops-a-doodles, didn't realize that, but I happened to say something out of all the thousands of cryptocurrencies that exist. This was the one. Okay, Mr. Hinman, I ain't buying what you're selling. Piece continues. Additionally, Mr. Hinman, who annually received more than $1.5 million in retirement benefits from Simpson Thacher while he was employed by the SEC, had repeated contact with the law firm's personnel. These contacts included the referral of a business prospect and participation in at least one exclusive conference sponsored in part by Simpson Thacher personnel, designed to provide insiders with special access to high-level SEC officials, which could burnish the law firm's reputation among clients and potential clients. The records do not, however, reveal efforts by Mr. Hinman to dissuade his former law firm colleagues from contacting him, nor do they demonstrate that the SEC's Ethics Office monitored his compliance with its directives. Yeah, well, sure as hell looks like they didn't monitor it. Take a look at this. Here's a quote. The SEC OIG should conduct a comprehensive review of these circumstances in order to, number one, understand the degree to which the conflict involving this former official exacerbated the perception that the SEC's enforcement actions have selectively targeted some cryptocurrencies while giving others a free pass. Ooh, well, we can all get behind that. That's for damn sure. And number two, explain to the public how the SEC's Ethics Office failed to effectively ensure compliance with its clear directives. And number three, evaluate the SEC's policies and procedures to identify ways to more effectively monitor compliance with ethics guidance. Hitting the nail. It's so refreshing to see this. It's good to see an organization actually fighting back against this utter nonsense. Oh man, this is good stuff. So we'll see what happens here, but there should be an investigation. This is exactly the type of stuff that Attorney John Deaton's been saying for ages and ages. So as soon as I hear more, I will let you know. But it's just an absolute pleasure to see this after all of the backhanded deals that appear to have been going on. And, you know, there's no smoking gun at this point, so I can't say with 100% certainty that Hinman or Clayton or anybody for sure did illegal things, but my gosh, I'd be surprised if they didn't. I just, the way it looks with the improprieties, all the coincidences, I'd be super surprised. And I think that's how the entire XRP community feels, but I'll wrap up here. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.